love everything that comes out of Korea. The food is just fantastic. It's a different type of flavors that are put together in one bowl, and usually what I like about it is that it's just a massive spread on the table. You can just grab a lot of things. It's very confusing, but it all makes sense at the end. So one of my favorite dishes from there is actually a bibimbap. A bibimbap is basically like a big stone pot, and then they cook that with different types of ingredients. They put a raw egg inside, and just that heat, that continuous heat, just cooks all the ingredients inside, and it's just such a wonderful bowl. Now, the only problem with that is that it's very heavy, and it's actually quite, not that great if you're washing your finger and everything. So I wanted to do something that you can do every day without having a stone pot, without having all these different technical aspects that you would need, and I just simplified it and made it healthy at the same time. So very simply enough, we're going to start just by cooking out our shiitake mushrooms with some cherry tomatoes. I'm just going to need a little bit of ginger for that, not much. About 1 tablespoon should be enough. I don't mind thick cuts of ginger, but if you like it really fine, just make sure to cut it down so that you don't actually bite into it. I actually do enjoy that woody explosion of textures. Next, for your cherry tomatoes, we're just going to cut them right split through. For one portion, you might want to count maybe 4 pieces only. Should be good enough. Shiitake mushrooms, same thing. We're going to cut them in half or in thirds. So I've got a big one like this. I'm just going to cut it 2 times to get it in thirds. Now we're just going to move on to the stove and fry everything together. So really simply enough, I put my shiitake here with just a little bit of olive oil. Now, on the other pan, I have some local spinach, which you can't really eat raw usually. I'm going to add just a tad bit of chicken broth just to get it nice and boiled out. And to give it a bit more flavor, I'm just going to add a couple of drops of sesame oil. So that's going to get nice and soft. Now, I'm going to flip out these 2 pans. So while that's cooking, I'm going to cook just an egg in a small frying pan. I'm going to add a little bit of oil. Now usually, if you had a stone type of earthware, I guess you can call it, it'd be easy. The egg would cook itself in the bowl, but here we really just have to cook it separately. So I'm just going to fry that. When you fry an egg, it's really important, just make sure you cut out the white a little so that it cooks evenly. So I have some nicely cooked quinoa here. When you do quinoa, what's very important is to make sure that you just steep it in water a little bit first, in cold water, just to remove those toxins that naturally encompass the little grains. And that'll remove some of the bitterness some people have. And then when you boil it, you want to make sure you boil it in not too much water, because what people do, they boil it too much, it becomes a little soggy. You want it to have that little bounce, and it's that separation that makes it important. That texture is more like rice or couscous or whatever you're used to. So now I'm going to put that into a bowl, grab a little bit of carrot. We're going to do a little quick julienne here, half, and then we're going to do little strips. And then we're also going to use, of course, a Korean staple, which is kimchi. I don't make my own because it takes a while to make it, and you can buy some great ones in the supermarket. So I've got some nice cabbage kimchi here. So I'm going to put, it doesn't smell that great, but trust me, the taste is amazing. So I'm going to put maybe 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to give that a rough chop as well, just to make sure that when I mix everything, everything is basically all more or less the same size. Okay. Now I'm just going to take my bowl here, and then I'm just going to put every ingredient, kind of like a kaleidoscope of like different colors and everything. So I'm going to put the strips down, and then I'm going to put the kimchi down, and then I'm going to grab my different ingredients as they are ready here. So we're going to start with our shiitake mushrooms and tomatoes. Put that right on the side as well. Next, our fried egg, which I'm just going to plop right in the middle. And then finally, our boiled spinach, which just has a little bit of sesame and some chicken broth in it. And we're going to put that right on the side as well, just to give it that little brightness of color. And then we're just going to finish everything off with some pepper. A little bit of salt on top of everything on the side. And you'll see it's not going to be a saucy type of dish. It's just like let's say a glorified fried rice. And you're going to mix everything together, and it's just a huge bowl of comfort, and it's really, really, actually really good for you.